Ladies and gentlemen, will you join us, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Mason, would you do roll call, please?
Ms. Bates?
Here.
Mr. Eden? Mrs. Fryrick?
Here.
Ms. Leopold Sharp?
Here.
Mr. Posnow?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
Mrs. Schrader?
Here.
Ms. Schaefer?
Here.
Mr. Toman?
Here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our May voting meeting of the York Suburban School Board. For those of you who've not been here before, I want to assure you that the items on which we vote this evening, including our budget, have been under discussion for many meetings. So although there may not be a great deal of discussion this evening, please don't think that these are just frivolous votes that we're taking. This is the culmination of a long period of review and discussion. And for those of you who would like to know more, we have 2 meetings a month, except in the months of June and July when we do condense them into a single meeting. And in our planning meeting, which is the first meeting of the month, that's when most of the conversation and discussion takes place. We vote at the voting meeting. That said, we have 2 times for public comment in the voting meeting. One is right now at the beginning of the meeting, and the other is at the conclusion of the agenda. You're welcome to speak to the microphone, introduce yourself by name and address, and make any comments you wish. We will limit those to 5 minutes just for expediency.
Hi, my name is Dick Raw. I live at 2401 Cambridge Road, and I went to the district track meet on Friday and Saturday. And I'm curious, Dr. Merkel, did any suburban students win a medal at that meet?
Yes, we had a shot putter get 4th place. That may have been our only one.
Okay.
Peyton, do you have information to the contrary?
I do.
Would you
Maddie James got 8th in high jump and received a medal in that, and she's moving on to states. Kendi Hood received 7th in the 100-meter dash and 9th in the 200-meter. She's not going to states because how states works for the girls' team is you have to be top 8, and you have to hit the qualifying time. So only Maddie James hit the qualifying time for her high jump. Ty Avery got 15th in her 300-meter hurdle, is not going to states and didn't get a medal. Grace Tyson got 7th in pole vault, got a medal, but isn't going to states. Bodie Wilson got 13th in the 200 and 7th in high jump, so he got a medal for high jump, but he's not going to states. Andrew Paskey got 14th in the 300-meter hurdle. Ralph Casper got 15th in discus, 4th in shot put, so he got a medal, and he's going to states.
Good.
Our 4x8 team got 13th in the finals, and that's...
Okay, very good.
And you didn't know that.
Very good. Very good. I did see them run this track, and I cheered when it went by, but I just didn't see them really win in that. Anyhow, I'm a proud grandfather because my youngest granddaughter from Little Christian School of New York got 7th place and got a medal in the 800. So I'm pretty proud grandfather, and my all family was there, so we were cheering her on. Quite an accomplishment.
Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Are there any other public comments at this part of the meeting? Seeing none, let me move on. I ask the board for approval of the minutes of our planning committee meeting of May 8th, 2017, and our last regular monthly meeting on April 17th, 2017. Are there any public comments or any corrections or additions from the board? Hearing none, we'll file those for audit. Mr. Posnow, Treasurer's Report.
Would any board member like any of these items considered separately, or are there any questions? If not, the chair moves approval of the below-mentioned items.
Second. Ms. Mason, we can do this short roll call if there are no questions.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Posnow?
Thank you.
As part of my report, my first opportunity is to congratulate Peyton Stewart for his service, so you need to come up. This is a photo op. He's been a very important contribute to our meetings, and enthusiastic student board rep. It's been a pleasure to have you. Congratulations. Is there someone here to take your picture?
Nope. Wait, I'll take it.
All right, Mrs. James will take your picture. All right.
Sign it.
You might
want to do it over here.
Yeah, we could get away.
You can get under
We can just stand over here. Oh, yeah, we can shake hands, that's good.
You can tell we rehearse these things.
Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to your final report in a few minutes. It's my duty to report to you that the board met in executive session this evening before tonight's meeting as permitted by Section 707 of the Sunshine Act for the purpose of discussing negotiations. No official action was taken. It's also my pleasure to recommend John Posnow be appointed as treasurer for a 1-year term beginning July 1, 2017. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Is there any discussion?
Oh, wait, no compensation.
You don't want the job? Is that, you don't want, do you want us to vote?
Exactly.
All right, Ms. Mason, I think we can do this by a short roll call vote.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Congratulations, John. And it's also my pleasure to recommend that Corrine Mason be appointed as board secretary for a 2-year term beginning June 1st, 2017, as part of her responsibilities as the director of finance. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second. Any questions or conversations? Ms. Mason, I guess you can take a roll call vote on your own appointment. It can be short.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you. Congratulations. That concludes my report. Dr. Merkel.
Thank you, Madam President. First, under the superintendent's report is a student enrollment report. No significant changes to the enrollment report, which should be obvious at this point of the year. Please know the administration is working diligently at a plan to address 2 major issues with regard to enrollment, and that is charter school enrollment as well as affidavit students. And we're looking to tackle both of those things over the summer and hope to be able to demonstrate some success in numbers for the start of next school year. Any questions on student enrollment report? Second, the administration recommends board approval of the application for Act 80 days for the 17-18 school year for the dates listed on the agenda: August 15, October 4, November 1, November 3, March 9, and May 25th.
Any questions for Dr. Merkel? We can have a short roll call after Ms. Mason.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
The administration recommends board approval of the addition of 2 full-time aide positions for the emotional support program at the intermediate grades levels 3 to 5. The district previously contracted with the LIU for these positions. With the change in teacher, it's an appropriate time to change personnel, changing the entire staff, and there will be a cost savings to the district.
So moved.
Any questions or discussion? Ms. Mason, we could have a short roll call for that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Similarly, the administration recommends board approval of the addition of 2 full-time aide positions for the autistic support program at the primary level. These positions were considered as a part of the entire package that the board considered when transferring the autistic support program from the LIU to district operation. These positions were part of the total savings for that programmatic change.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Merkel? Hearing none, Ms. Mason, we can do a short roll call vote for that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thanks to the board for your support on both of these programs, and this closes those the transfers that need to be made to operate those programs within the district. Next, the administration is recommending the addition of a half-time custodial position. This is part of the budget that is being recommended for approval tonight. at this time, that position or half position is designated for the middle school. There is a document attached to the agenda that outlines the need for that custodial position at the middle school.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Merkel?
Time of day that this is gonna be, is this like evening or late afternoon?
Anticipated evening, Mrs. Mason, yes. That's heavy cleaning time as opposed to the maintenance of.
Any other questions? We can do a short roll call for that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Anything else?
Finally, I just want to provide the board with an update on where we are with the 5 teaching positions that were added by the board this year, and the administration is appreciative of that. At this point, we are intending to assign 1.5 to full-day kindergarten, a half of Spanish. We have heavy numbers on our current Spanish staff, so if we are able to secure the right person, we will add a half there. And we're looking to add a half of social studies, but have also shifted from a half of a dean at the middle school to a full position for dean. And so that would then reduce any other combination for the 2. It would really be 1.5 remaining positions for kindergarten, grade 3, and music. And so it's really just an update to let the board know we continue to look at those 5 positions, use them judiciously. We're looking at enrollment numbers at kindergarten and second grade are our largest concerns at the elementary level, but have seen we have significant numbers at the middle school in social studies, and we've known that, and we've tried to delay that for a year and have successfully to this year. We thought we would need the other half at the high school in social studies, but we have a higher need in Spanish, and that need will only grow. So I would expect that while it's a half-time this year, that we'll more likely need to grow that next year into a full-time position, but I would expect that we'll be able to reduce in some other areas. So that's our plan for those positions. Again, the administration is very grateful to the board for your support of those additional positions. They're clearly needed across the district, and will be put to good use. Any questions? Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
And Mrs. Farrick.
Backtrack for a minute here because I wanted to ask a question and I didn't realize I should have done it, I guess, at the point before when we were dealing with the half-time custodial position at the middle school. The information you gave us talked about industry standards. Where do we fall in suburban? Are we trying to do level 1, level 2? I mean, I know we have very high standards here at York Suburban.
Well, and if you look at the numbers, it's less about where we're trying to fall than where we are. We're very pleased with the cleanliness of our buildings. We are struggling to maintain the level of cleanliness that we expect in some areas. The middle school right now is, and again, the board heard me speak to that relative to staffing and the numbers of students in that building. And so it's not necessarily so much that we look for level 1 or level 2, and that we want to, we haven't set level 1 or level 2 as a guideline for us. But when we do a comparative sense, that level 2 is really the place we would aspire to be. It's not necessary for us to clean to the level of an executive office or to the level of a hospital standard, but certainly standard is something we would continue to strive for. But not necessarily does that take priority over staffing in other areas of the district.
I just look at this because, I guess, coming from the facilities committee for so long, that I tend to have a concern that we're going to be using configuration, more classrooms at some of these buildings with our, the kindergarten explosion that we're having for, which is fine. The need to keep the buildings cleaner. We're using some rooms that we hadn't used previously, and the other work that the daytime head custodians, I guess I believe they're termed, responsibilities that they tend to have, and getting some of those things done, particularly at the elementary level, and some of the schools like, Valleyville and Yorkshire, where they also have to go out and do some of the shoveling and cleanup before the students arrive, and Bright Horizons comes very early with our Before Care program and things like that, and I'm just concerned that are we
It's a great question, and it's one we've studied over the course of the year. This was at the request of the facilities department to say what is it that you need. Everything that they have expressed a need for has been wrapped into this half a position. Certainly, if we added a position at every district, at every building, we could do better. But quite frankly, the survey results from our teachers and staff members have been very positive relative to cleaning and maintenance of the buildings. So we believe that we're meeting the standards, the expectations of our staff, and our custodians they do a really nice job.
There's no question that they do. They do, given a lot of different circumstances. But I'm just kind of curious that we're going to have more little people in some of these buildings, and which requires, and I think the rooms for young children, at least to my way of seeing it, has a lot of stuff and furniture that needs to be moved and vacuumed around and cleaned around, and I mean that takes a lot of time. And cleaning the bathrooms well when you have more little people in the buildings. And
Not so much that we'll have more, it's that the buildings will be used differently. The classrooms will be used differently.
Got more furniture, more things that have to be moved, makes cleaning a little bit more.
For example, a kindergarten classroom would have morning and afternoon before, and the difference between that all day won't change significantly how dirty that classroom gets. They'll still run the vacuum, they'll still dust, they'll still, and that bathroom will still need to be cleaned. There may be a few more students who missed.
Yeah.
Or, but the reality is they're still doing that cleaning. So we have not seen significant change with the number increase. We're not looking at more numbers next year as much as a different utilization.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Merkel? If not, if you would be so kind as to allow me to change the agenda slightly, I'd like to move up, even before personnel, I'd like to move up the student board representative report to Mr. Stewart, because it suddenly dawned on me that he and our new student board rep are probably studying for finals this week.
Yes, we are.
And so you perhaps might not like to stay till the end of the meeting, as much as we would like to have you here. So Mr. Peyton Stewart, you're on.
So first I'll start off by introducing Elise Atkinson as the board representative for the next year. She's involved in a lot of things. She's a close friend of mine. She does excellent work with everything she does, and I'm sure that she'll do an exceptional job in my position that I did this year. So you guys should be very excited.
Stand up, Elise, so we can welcome you.
I'm going to jump in and add to that. Some of you read about Elise in the paper, has done the prom gown collection and did a remarkable job with that. Her resume is rather extensive with a number of other activities as well, but seated with her this evening is Mrs. Christy Atkinson, her mother. So.
Okay, so the main thing on the students' minds is summer, which is approaching. There's only 3 days left of school. Tomorrow is the last day for seniors, as they've taken their finals over the course of the past week. I guess tomorrow's also senior prank day, so we'll see what's in store for that. Finals for the underclassmen occur on Wednesday and Thursday, and are half days with 2 hour-and-a-half-long finals on each day, which would be history, your foreign language, your math, and your science. So if you don't take some of those, you don't take finals. Graduation will be Thursday night. The band and orchestra will provide the music, and the National Honor Society will be selling roses to the families of the graduates. This past Saturday, as many of you know, we had prom. From what I could tell, there was about 300 people there. It was very nice. Everybody looks very nice. The food was okay. The Caesar salad was fantastic. The entree had a lot of mixed reactions, just because the people that went last year felt that it wasn't as good as last year. However, the music was very good and made up for it. What I could tell, everybody had a very great time. Everybody was very pleased, and there are plenty of pictures on the York Daily Record website. Post-prom occurred afterwards from about 11:30 to 3 a.m. It had a good attendance, probably close to about 100 kids, which is a solid third of the people that attended prom. There was a lot of food and plenty of activities to keep the kids busy until 3 a.m. Overall, a very fun time, lots of money and prizes given out. Last week, there was Keystones for the Algebra and Biology Keystone for the underclassmen. Specifically in the Biology department, All of the teachers worked very hard to prepare their kids throughout the entire year, specifically with the bio boot camp, which occurred 2 weeks ago. The upperclassmen, including myself, got to come in 2.5 hours late, which was perfect, and had a lot of positive responses because school didn't start for us until 10:30. Track, they had districts on Friday and Saturday, and I would explain the results, but you already got the rundown on that. So York Suburban was very well represented and have 2 athletes moving on the stage, which is just fantastic. The boys lacrosse team is in the district playoffs after beating the 6th seed Lancaster Country Day. This is their first win in the Division III ranking, so that's really incredible. Blake Wallace is the goalkeeper for the York Suburban lacrosse team, and he's up for Athlete of the Week this week, so we hope that he wins. When I checked last, he was in the lead, so that's awesome. Tonight, the boys volleyball team have a District 3 quarterfinal match against Lancaster Mennonite. I'm not sure how they're doing because it's happening right now, but they will go to states for playoffs no matter what happens because they had such a good season. Last Monday night was the academic award ceremony for the entire district. It's one of the last celebrations of the year in which the students at the top of their classes or in each of the school departments get recognized for their hard work throughout the school year. Tonight, I believe, is a senior sleepover, from what I understand. Is that not happening anymore? Just kidding.
There are school-sanctioned events, and there are activities that students engage in that are not school-sanctioned. So we should stick to our school-sanctioned events, Mr. Stewart.
Just kidding, that's not happening. Yeah, just right. There are a lot of summer plans for the upcoming summer, obviously. The Honors English for junior and seniors are taking a trip to England, and that they leave next Tuesday, so that's pretty soon. And from what I understand, they're going to visit Shakespearean historical sites, as well as just visiting the city of London, which is very cool for them. Senior week will be coming up very soon. I know a lot of the seniors are going to the beach, going to the mountains, just hanging out with friends, having a great time. Many people are working at different locations. There's a lot of college orientation occurring over the summer, and there's the beginning of fall sports, such as Cross Country Rookie Camp, which begins June 22nd, and we are very excited. And the last thing on my agenda is just to thank all of you on the board for allowing me to sit here this past year and for giving me so many opportunities to express what the students believe as well as what I believe. I feel like I've made a lot of connections with you guys, and I feel that you've brought me in and helped me a lot, and I feel like I've grown as a person and grown in general. Definitely one of the best high school experiences I could have, hopefully that Elise has. Just the connections I've made, just how I've learned how to communicate my ideas better with all of you, as well as all of you, and the administrators at each building. I had fun, a lot of fun, and I will miss coming to these next year. Who knows, I might show up just to see, see you guys. And I really enjoyed how a lot of you, instead of just seeing me on every other Monday night, a lot of you would come out to my concerts, my cross-country meets, my tennis matches, and you would watch me and support me. And that was just really cool because more than just my parents or my friends' parents, it was you guys too. So it's like another family that I'll be leaving behind. So, thank you.
Well done.
Mr. Stewart, can you tell us what capacity you might be serving the school community in next year?
Next year I will be a mini-thon captain for the Spirit Committee, as well as the Homecoming Bonfire captain. So you can expect the best bonfire ever. In addition to that, I'll be working in many clubs, including Model UN, which is run by Elise Atkinson. And so you'll see me at a lot of different events. I'll be running cross-country. We'll be a captain for cross-country. We'll be a tennis captain. If you come to the York Suburban girls basketball games, I will be there managing, doing a very good job because we always win. So, yeah.
All right, good. Well, have a good summer and a good senior year, and thank you again.
And I'll give a quick volleyball update. We're down 2-1 in games, tie at the start of the 4th game. So I'll keep you posted.
We're going to move now to personnel because I understand, and if the two of you really need to study, we fully understand if you want to leave. However, if this is a good excuse, then by all means stay. We're going to move Ms. Bates to personnel now.
Thank you. The minutes of April 11th are provided. And then please note that there's an addendum at the end of the agenda, which is included in the consent agenda. You have before you the personnel report, which includes retirement, resignation, appointment, employment, leave of absence, reappointment of extracurricular advisors, appointment of department chairpersons and resource persons, reappointment of medical personnel, substitute teacher, guest teachers, prospective teacher as a substitute teacher, and volunteers. Does anyone have any questions or would like any of these items to be separated out? Hearing none, I move approval of the below mentioned items.
Second.
Thank you.
Ms. Mason, since we're doing so much hiring, let's just do a roll call vote.
This will be a roll call vote. So used to saying
That's all right.
short one.
Just one.
Okay, Schrader,
Yes.
Leopold Sharp,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Fryrick,
Yes.
Toman,
Yes.
Posnow,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes. And that concludes my report, but I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Merkel should she have any comments.
I certainly do. Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge Gert, who is retiring as a custodian, most recently from Valley View. She served the district for 10 years and has done an outstanding job. She certainly will be missed. Mrs. Gross has an unusual circumstance changing from a retirement to a resignation. I appreciate the board's support on that. We did acknowledge Mrs. Gross at previous board meetings, but her loss to the district is significant. She's done a nice job with us, and we certainly wish her well in her new endeavor. We have a number of hires tonight, and we're going to start by introducing Dr. Furman to introduce Mrs. Good.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for switching the order because it allows me to very rudely sneak out of here and back to the high school for my son's track banquet. So thank you for your flexibility. But more importantly, I'd like to introduce Ariana Good. And she'll be serving as a learning support teacher at East York Elementary next year. She's born and raised in Lancaster County. She has 4 years of teaching experience at the intermediate and at the middle school level. And she might be a familiar face to many of you because her husband Oliver teaches at the high school, and so you'll see her at anything volleyball related and mini-con related.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Do you have a more current update?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm caught.
Keep us posted.
Will do. Congratulations and welcome, Ariana. Dr. Krauser, if you'd like to introduce our new teachers.
Sure, absolutely. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you. I kind of equate this process to almost kind of painting for gold. It's a tremendous amount of work. We take our teachers and our process very seriously, over the coals, so to speak. But when we're done, we end up with absolute gems, and I've got a whole bunch to share with you this evening. So we certainly appreciate that. First and foremost, I'll start with English Language Arts. We're fortunate to introduce Mrs. Melissa Hendricks Martin, and she's joining us with extensive experience in ELA at the middle level as well. She's kind of been doing quite a bit with 7th grade, and we're going to join our 8th grade team. She's been working in Maryland and is excited to join our team. Did an outstanding lesson with some 8th graders a week ago. So we're excited to have her join the team in 8th grade ELA.
Ms. Hendricks, would you like to introduce the folks with you tonight?
This is my grandmother, these are my parents, this is my husband.
Welcome and congratulations to all of you, and thanks for sharing your daughter, granddaughter, and wife with us. And be sure...
It generates that middle school theme of family.
There we go.
So, yeah.
You will have the opportunity to do some signing pictures shortly, so...
Secondly, I'd like to introduce Mr. Adam Schimpf. He'll be joining us at the middle school as well for mathematics in our grade 6 team. Adam's bringing a tremendous amount of experience mathematically for our department, actually at the high school level, bringing it to our middle school level, bringing that experience and knowledge to help build that foundational course in grade 6. And again, Adam's been an example of this kind of, what I say, finding a gem. He's been through, I don't know how many interviews. He and I were meeting a couple nights a week there for a while, but it all turned out to just demonstrate what great talent and skill and expertise he has. So we're excited to bring Adam into the middle school, and he'll be joining us in the fall.
And this is my wife, Lauren.
Hi.
Welcome to both of you as part of the York Suburban family. Thank you very much for being here, and congratulations to all of our new teacher hires. Next on the agenda, there are a number of other hires. In a minute, sit down, you relax. A number of those hires are internal transfers, and we've made a number of shifts within our paraprofessional staff, moving some from part-time to full-time to fill the positions that the board approved tonight in autistic support and emotional support and so forth. And so largely, a lot of the rest of the hires this evening are about appointments and reappointments. We did add an addendum at approximately 4:29 this afternoon, with the office closing at 4:30, and I'll give Dr. Krauser the pleasure of introducing.
Absolutely. Well, hello again. With transitions such as this, as you know, Dr. Monos is making a transition to Valley View as Dr. Ketterman is moving to the Ed Center, which opened up an opportunity for us to do a rigorous search to find a new assistant principal. I'd like to introduce Mrs. Jennifer Fasik, who will be joining the middle school team. She, again, brings a great level of experience administratively, as well as middle-level mathematics experience and leadership at a middle level. And as Dr. Merkel said, literally within the last few moments, kind of kept her, I think, on pins and needles is the word we just said in the hallway over the last few days. But Jennifer has a great amount of experience, most recently at Cedar Cliff, but kind of all things for the last few years, and we're really excited to have her join our team, kind of fill a role of both her experience, her middle level knowledge, student-centered, shall we say, so we're excited to have her part of our team.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very excited to be a part of the York Suburban family, and I'm right along my husband, Terry, to join us tonight.
Good evening. Mrs. Fasik earned 2 nicknames this afternoon, and I'm pretty sure I know which one's going to stick with me, but at 2:59, I texted her and said, can you get over to see us this afternoon? We needed to close 1 or 2 more things, and she said, I can be there in 30 minutes, and I believe it was 29 minutes from Cedar Cliff. So, yes. So, Mario Andretti is one potential nickname, but the one that I really prefer is Babe Ruth, and that's a conversation that the 2 of us had that I'm going with, and so I see her as the new Babe Ruth of York Suburban. So welcome to you, to your family. Thanks to all of our new hires for being here tonight. And on that note, we can excuse them.
Absolutely. With Dr. Merkel, this is when the signing pictures happen.
Dr. Maloney, you
and
mean?
You don't, Dr. Maloney, and you do not have to rejoin us.
Oh, good.
No, Dr. Maloney, we'd like you to rejoin us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. You recognize?
You never stopped me. Oh.
Now, Ms. Mason. Ms. Mason, we would never want this important business office report to be given short shrift. So now we have all of the time in the world. It is yours. You have more. I don't think we've ever had a report going to V after you to be in the history of this board. So you are on.
Well, my roll call sheet is 3 pages tonight, so.
We'll do a lot of short ones.
Well, I'm hoping we'll take advantage of what, Mrs. Say said we could do last month and sort of group some of these together. So we'll
Absolutely.
see how it works. Okay, the first item under the business office, the administration recommends board adoption of the resolution to approve the 2017-18 general operating fund budget in the amount of $55,720,297 and to set the real estate tax rate at 22.7495 mils. This represents a 1.5% increase, which is less than the state index of 2.5% set for the 2017-18 fiscal year.
So moved.
Mr. Posnow, do you want to say anything, or Ms. Mason, before we
I think the
vote?
only thing I would mention is I would like to kind of recognize the work that the administration did in bringing this to fruition for us. It represents an opportunity to provide everything that the students need while providing some relief for the taxpayers in the community. So I think it's kind of a nice thing.
Dr. Merkel.
Only to thank the board in kind. It's been a joint effort, and a lot of work went in from the board, a lot of thought, good ideas, and thank you. Mrs. Mason has done an outstanding job with this.
I believe we will have a roll call vote for the budget.
Bates?
Yes.
Leopold Sharp?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Posnow?
Yes?
Robinson?
Yes.
Fryrick?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Toman?
Yes.
The second item, the administration recommends board adoption of the resolution authorizing the distribution of $665,159.86 of state gaming funds to 5,433 eligible homestead properties and 0 farmstead properties under Section 342 of Act 1. The certified amount is $1,360.65 more than the amount certified for the 2016-17 year. The real estate tax reduction amount applicable to each approved homestead for 2017-18 is $123.17.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We can do a short roll call on that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. The administration recommends board approval for the Director of Finance to authorize all of the necessary transfers required for the 2016-17 fiscal year that are needed after June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Any questions? We can do a short roll call on that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes. The administration recommends board approval of the following depositories for 2017-18. Adams County National Bank, Pennsylvania School District Liquid Asset Fund, and Integrity Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We can do a short roll call on that.
This will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, we'll find out. I'd like to take items E through S and S.
Yes.
Yes, S is in Sam, and put them all in and vote on them all at once if everyone, unless anyone has an objection to that.
Any concerns? That sounds wonderful.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's really a good idea, but we had no motion.
Any questions?
I have a question. Regarding Whitson's, and you might not know the answer to this evening, but with the changes in the federal nutrition standards and guidelines that have become a little less, have been a little compromised, should I say, from previous, or what does Whitson's plan to do with respect to standards? Are they going to compromise what we have in place, or are we going to stay with what exists
I can't answer
Yeah, I
what
thought you
Whitson
might
is
need to.
doing, but I know we've already gotten direction from PDE that we're not to do anything
Okay.
until they have come out and said what there is actually going to be relaxed.
Okay, all right, thank you. If you wouldn't mind keeping at least me updated, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Mason, are you comfortable with a short roll call on that?
Mm-hmm.
Then, short roll call, please.
Okay, this will be a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. The administration recommends board approval for settlement of the tax assessment appeal litigation, case number 2016 SU 001319-26 for tax parcel 480011 0020.00-0000, address 325 South Belmont Street, Spring Garden Township, York County, PA, owned by York, Pennsylvania Hospital Company, LLC, for a total assessed value for tax years 2016 and 17 as follows. Absent major renovations, improvements, or demolition of the subject property or a countywide reassessment, there shall be no further change to the assessment of the subject property until the tax year beginning January 1st, 2020. The district administration and solicitor are authorized to take all steps necessary to effectuate the settlement and to resolve this pending tax assessment appeal case.
So moved. Second. Are there any questions for Ms. Mason? Let's do that by voice vote.
Toman,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Leopold Sharp,
Yes.
Fryrick,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Posnow,
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
Last item, the administration recommends board approval of TIPS as a vendor for purchasing under contract.
So moved. Second.
Are there any questions for Ms. Mason?
This is just like we have PEPM and CoStars and KPN.
State approved.
But this is an out-of-state. This is actually a program out of Texas that Mr. Henry found some really good computer equipment and infrastructure items from them. We actually had the solicitor's office review, made some recommendations back to them. They took them without any apprehension at all. And it was more about updating the Pennsylvania code pieces that they had as a part of it. So it's just another avenue for us for purchasing.
Then we'll do a short roll call on that.
Okay, this will be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, under informational, change in the walk zone update. We've kind of been telling you about this as we've learned about it and as we've done the different requests through Department of Transportation. These are now the final walk zones after we've gotten all of the information back from PennDOT. That will affect every building but Indian Rock. The walk zones are affected in some shape or form. So I just wanted to put these out there. These will be posted. It does change some of the routing for this year, as far as what the routes may in fact entail, and some of the shifting that they'll be doing. We have communicated that there will be a shift to all of our current students. A letter has gone home to all of the residents, and as this gets finalized, Reliance will be sending their updates out in their routing, and we will put anything that needs to be put out as a whole, whether it be Blackboard or an email. We will get that information out and keep everyone as current as we can.
Question, Ms. Bates.
Am I remembering that these maps are addenda to a policy? I couldn't begin to tell what the policy is, and I wonder if it gets updated with these. It's not,
I'm sorry, I'm answering her
Oh.
question.
No, that's one of the things that we looked at. It doesn't fall under the, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Merkel, this doesn't fall under the policy per se as it does the administrative guidelines.
oh, okay. So I just remembered there were maps, but they were under the,
We're at one point.
oh,
as part of
okay.
policy,
And now
then we-
they're,
yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mrs. Farrick?
I'm just interested, you're talking about they're constantly updating people on any, changes. Is there some point in time where you don't make any changes so that people will know what their final walk zones are or their...
No, the walk zones are done,
Okay, so the changes would be into the bus,
the routing,
to the
correct.
routing, okay. If
Yep.
there's some- and that's usually done well in advance, isn't it, the final routing, so people aren't...
Right now, the goal is to have all the information out to everyone through Alliance, the first week in July.
Ms. Mason, will these new revised walk zones also be linked on the homepage?
Yes.
Wonderful.
If you live here.
Yep. It gets used a lot.
Internally and externally. we
Mhm.
use that.
Yep. Any other questions? We have a donation in the amount of $909 from the Valley View PTO for the field trips. Any questions on the food service department report or the sales activity report? I would just like to point out on the Whitson's report, that, their internal audit, York Suburban got a 95, which is their highest mark, from them again, so that made us very happy for Helen and all of her staff. They do a really good job, so I was happy to see that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Mason. We have a volleyball update.
Who to?
All right. All right, thank you. Yeah, so do I. Mr. Toman, Policy Review Committee.
Gonna skip the other two?
No, we already did them. Oh, wait, is academic standards up there before you?
The report.
I don't see academic standards.
The first committee report there, alpha order.
Oh, my gosh, I apologize profusely. Mrs. Schrader, academic standards and curriculum.
It's actually short and sweet. Board members to review the minutes that are provided there for the May 23rd meeting.
We already skipped them.
Thank you. Mrs. Schaefer, the communications.
Well, it's always hard to top Mr. Stewart, and I'm certainly not going to try on his last evening, so I really don't have much to add. I would just pose a question, though, to the administration as to whether or not we'll be doing a press release for the budget vote this evening.
We'd be glad to if that's the will of the board.
It's a suggestion from
sense?
the committee.
I don't know if the press is here this evening.
Yes.
Oh, the press is here.
Oh, they are here? Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Thank
Would
you.
a press release help you tomorrow? If I'm not out of line?
Not at all.
We'll have something to you in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. Anything else? Mr. Toman,
All right.
I apologize for
No
skipping
problem.
the other.
Just didn't want to skip my colleagues. The Policy Review Committee is recommending the approval of 23 different policies. So that's not as bad as it sounds. We have 4 policies that were fully reviewed by the committee and have, say, substantial or substantive changes. There were 6 policies that were reviewed by the administrative team with minor revisions, and then there were 13 additional policies that were reviewed by the administrative team with no changes recommended that are simply being reapproved at this time.
Are you going to make a motion?
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Mason, we can do that with a short roll call vote.
This would be considered a unanimous roll call vote unless I hear votes to the contrary. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other committee reports this evening?
There will be no finance committee meeting Wednesday this week. We've done all of our work.
You've done your work. Thank you, Mr. Posnap. Thank you, Ms. Mason. Mr. Robinson, the LIU board report.
It gives me great pleasure to report to all of you tonight that I have no report. But I know you're all waiting in breathless anticipation for next month's report, which will become in 2 installments. Because it being my last month, they don't want to let me go, so we're up for 2 meetings. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Fyrick, York Adams Academy?
Yes, just a quick update that we are continuing to receive applications for the Director of Position at York Adams Academy, and we will do so through June 9th. Hopefully we'll get some viable candidates and begin the interviewing process. And the superintendent's group in the county has unanimously voted, I believe, that the new superintendent of record succeeding Dr. Lenardi will be Dr. Pianowski from Eastern York School District. He's been a longtime supporter of our program. And graduation is on June 5th at 7 p.m. at the York Learning Center, and you are all certainly invited to attend. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Mason, the YATB, any
No
report from the Tax Bureau? No report. Mrs. Schrader, York County School of Technology.
Yes, no report other than just the fact that the school year is winding down. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend this week's meeting because it's on Thursday night, the same night as our commencement, so I will not be there, but.
Thank you. Any other visitors who would wish to make a comment, address the board? Mr. Stewart, is that your family? Well, welcome. You missed his applause earlier, but we've very much enjoyed having him serve with us. And I want to do another picture opportunity. We could do another picture.
You do another picture.
Yes, but maybe we'll adjourn and we'll do a picture for the family. Mrs. Schaefer took a picture for us in your absence. The board committee schedules are here for January to June and July and December of 2017. And you remember that I think we set that schedule initially at the beginning of the calendar year, but Mrs. Irwine asked you to check particularly for the July to December dates so they can go on the school calendar. Is there any information that you are missing, Mrs. Irwine, or do you have what you need for that? You have everything you need. So the dates into the fall are there for your convenience, and they will appear on the school district calendar on the website. If there are no other public comments, I will adjourn the meeting, and we do not have an executive session afterwards. So thank you very much. We invite you to commencement at 7 p.m. Thursday evening in the stadium because the weather will be lovely.
Yes.
Thank you and good evening.